Here is your complete guide for where to live in Atlanta. One of the biggest factors for what part of Metro Atlanta you're going to live in is whether or not you want to live in the city of Atlanta or in one of the suburbs of Atlanta. All of Metro Atlanta has about 5 million people, but the city of Atlanta itself is only about 500,000. So this means that about 92-93% of the residents of Metro Atlanta live in one of the suburbs of Atlanta. No question that the city of Atlanta is very different than the suburbs. You're going to have that more fast-paced lifestyle, that more, densely populated kind of area. And so Atlanta is a major U.S. city like any other major U.S. city. And so this is what you can expect, that kind of easy walkability to the grocery stores or to the schools or to the parks. This is the kind of city lifestyle that you can expect within the city limits. One big factor, one big kind of like line that we have here in Metro Atlanta is Interstate 285. And Interstate 285 kind of goes around the city of Atlanta, and very often the residents here of Metro Atlanta refer to this as the perimeter, and everything that's within the perimeter tends to be more city-like, more urban, and everything outside of the perimeter tends to be more suburban or maybe even rural if you get far out enough away from the city of Atlanta. So these two areas of Metro Atlanta are very different kind of lifestyles, and your situation, your circumstances are going to highly affect which one of these two you would want to live in. So let's talk about some of the different areas in both the suburbs of Atlanta and the city of Atlanta. What's up, y'all? My name is Victor with Atlanta Suburban Living, and we put out videos every week about what it's like to live in Atlanta and the suburbs around Atlanta. If you have any questions about making the move to the Metro Atlanta area, feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. Thank you so much to everybody who has reached out. I'm always happy to help. Even if you just have a question about what it's like to live here, feel free to call me, text me, email me anytime. But some of the areas within the city limits of Atlanta that I think are great parts to live in would be areas like Buckhead or Grant Park or Midtown. So let's start with Buckhead. Buckhead is like a neighborhood of Atlanta or a district of Atlanta. It's in the farthest northern point of Atlanta, and again, it has that kind of city lifestyle. This is one of the most popular parts to live in all of the city of Atlanta. Lots of great restaurants and shopping there in Buckhead, very high-end shopping. Phipps Plaza and also Lenox Mall. These are some of where you find some of these high-end stores in Buckhead. Also, some of the best five-star restaurants in all of Metro Atlanta are going to be here in Buckhead. And so you can imagine the cost of living here in Buckhead is also one of the highest in all of the city, but this is where you're going to find some of the best quality of life, the best homes, the best shopping is here in Buckhead. There are a few houses in this area, like standalone single-family residences, but the majority of the homes in this area are going to be like townhomes or condos. This is very popular in the area of Buckhead, and so this is the kind of city lifestyle that you can expect here. Again, very easy to walk to all of the different parts of the city. We do have public transportation in Atlanta, but I don't necessarily recommend it. It's not my favorite. In fact, it does kind of suck, especially if you're from a different country. You're going to feel like the public transportation in Atlanta is garbage. And hopefully they improve this and they maybe can kind of clean it up a little bit, but for now it's not really great and I don't suggest it. So when you're living within the city limits, you're not necessarily car dependent, but of course there are things like taxis or Uber, Lyft to get around, but also, again, very walkable in the area of Buckhead. And then if we go south a bit on the map, we're looking at like the area of Midtown. Midtown is a bit south of Buckhead. And so again, very similar feel to Buckhead, but Midtown is a bit more affordable. You're not going to have to spend $1 million on a condo. It'd be more like, ranging between $300,000 and $700,000 I'm sure there are $1 million condos in Midtown, but you can find them much lower in Midtown than in Buckhead. And then you also have got a lot of great shopping and great restaurants there in the Midtown area. Again, very easy to walk around the different parts of the city. There's also like the arts district of Atlanta is kind of focused there in the Midtown area. You have the High Museum of Art. Also, you have the Fox Theater on the southern end of the Midtown area, and the Fox Theater is like where we have a bunch of like off-Broadway plays are there. Hamilton, I've seen one time there at the Fox Theater. Also the Nutcracker during the holidays, like every year during the holidays they have the Nutcracker at the Fox Theater. And so this is the best, the most popular theater in the city of Atlanta is the Fox Theater. Also, very close to Midtown is Piedmont Park. And Piedmont Park is one of the largest parks in all of the city of Atlanta. And then I think it's important to note too that the city of Atlanta is very more tropical than other parts of the US. And so you're going to see a lot of trees, a lot of vegetation in the city limits even of Atlanta. And so this is something that kind of surprises a lot of people, just how many trees we have in the city of Atlanta. Because of that, we have a lot of parks. Piedmont Park, West Side Park is kind of easily accessible from Midtown. And so definitely lots of green space when you're living within the city limits of Atlanta. And then if we move a little bit farther south, we get to like the downtown area of Atlanta. There are lots of great neighborhoods around the downtown area. One of my favorites is Grant Park. You're going to find a lot of homes here, not so much like condos and townhomes. Of course, there are some, but a lot of the homes in Grant Park are going to be standalone, like single family residence homes, many of them built in like the 1920s and 30s. So lots of character, lots of charm in these homes in Grant Park, and then much more affordable than Midtown or even Buckhead. So you're going to be able to find homes in Grant Park as low as $400,000 or $500,000 for a single family residence. And this is going to be a lot more affordable than the single family resident home prices in Midtown, which would probably be closer to about $700,000 or $800,000. In general, you tend to see a bit of a younger crowd in Grant Park as the homes are a bit more affordable. And so the people who want to live right there within the city and be close to all of the action, and they are kind of a bit younger maybe, or starting out careers, Grant Park is a very popular place for that because you can find a bit more affordable homes. Again, super character-filled homes there in Grant Park. This is one of the best parts in all of the city of Atlanta, and also very easy access to some of these major parks that we talked about. Piedmont Park, West Side Park. Also, the Atlanta Zoo is there, right like adjacent to Grant Park. A lot of the major attractions of Atlanta, the Georgia Aquarium, the Koch Museum, the College Football Hall of Fame, all of these are in downtown Atlanta, so very easy to get to there from Grant Park. Now, of course, if you're looking for an area that's not within the city of Atlanta and you're looking for more of a quiet, slower paced, more family friendly area, then many people go to the suburbs of Atlanta. And so here are a few of my favorite suburbs that I think are great for where you should move to if you're considering Metro Atlanta. First off, we have Suwanee, and Suwanee is in the northeast part of Metro Atlanta in Gwinnett County. And Gwinnett County is known for having some of the best public schools in all of Georgia. So this is one of the reasons why so many families move to this area. But Suwanee is part of Gwinnett, and it's got the great schools, but also I think it's got one of the best downtown areas. One of the best like community feels is in Suwanee. They've got town center. This is like their downtown area with the big green lawn. They've got a huge park there in town center Suwanee. They've also got the amphitheater there. Lots of shops and restaurants, easy to walk around town center Suwanee. However, you're not going to be walking around everywhere if you live in this city. You're going to pretty much be car dependent, and there's, for the most part, not really any public transportation. I believe Gwinnett County does have like the Gwinnett County Transit system, but I've never used it in the 30 years that I've lived here. I've never used it. And so I don't think it's very popular. But for the most part, you're going to be car dependent if you live in Suwanee. Great public schools, great community feel, plenty of shopping. I know for a lot of people, it's like, if I live far out from Atlanta, do they have regular grocery stores? Or am I going to be shopping at these small mom and pop grocery stores? They have all of the brand grocery stores that we know: Whole Foods, Publix, Kroger, Trader Joe's. All of these can be found in Suwanee. And then another big reason for Suwanee being one of the best one is the racial diversity that you find in Suwanee and in Gwinnett County in general. This is another big benefit of living in this area. A few other suburbs outside of the city limits that I really like are Powder Springs. Powder Springs is in the northwest part of Metro Atlanta, and one of the reasons why I think this is such a great suburb is because some of the best, most affordable homes are in Powder Springs. Not the most affordable, but like when you compare the public school system and like the amenities, you typically find that home prices are directly correlated to these things. So the best public schools, the best shopping tends to have the highest home prices, but very often people are looking for the area where they can get like the great public schools and the best shopping, and they get the affordable homes. In my opinion, the best suburb for this is Powder Springs. You have 9 out of 10 high school in Hillgrove High School, but you have homes that start as low as $300,000. This is unheard of in other parts of Metro Atlanta, where you find a 9 out of 10 high school. Typically, you're looking at about $700,000 or $800,000 for a home. So to be able to find homes in Powder Springs for $300,000 is an absolute steal. Of course, Alpharetta is everybody's favorite. This is one of my favorites as well. You have excellent public schools, great community feel in Alpharetta. It's got that modern vibe to it, not like some of the other suburbs around Atlanta, which feel a little bit dated sometimes. Alpharetta is much more of a modern feeling suburb. They have downtown Alpharetta, which is super popular. The Avalon, which has stores like the Apple store, the Peloton store. There's a Tesla store in there. Some great restaurants. Cafe Intermezzo is one of the like cafe coffee shop. You can also get dinner there. It's a kind of an elaborate coffee shop in the Avalon, and this is one of my favorites. Branch and Barrel is also in the Avalon. They've got a big movie theater there as well, with a kind of one of those green synthetic lawn spaces where you see the kids playing. This is also in the Avalon. So great family friendly, super safe area in Alpharetta. And then lastly, one of my favorites and where I currently live is Marietta. Marietta, again, excellent public schools, super safe area, great downtown area, and this is another great suburb of Metro Atlanta that I would strongly suggest. But whether or not you move to the Metro Atlanta area, one of the biggest factors by all means is going to be the cost of living here. And so whether or not the monthly expenses are going to be lower in Metro Atlanta than where you currently live or higher in Metro Atlanta is obviously going to be a big factor for whether or not you move here. So I've made an entire video outlining the monthly expenses that you can expect when living in Metro Atlanta. You can check out that video right here. I'll see you in the next one.